Hello, everybody. Two Nights Talk here, and the themes of this and probably the next week are, of course, Wijk aan Zee, the Tata Steel Chess Tournament, and we will also talk about the FIDE Freestyle situation a little bit. And we just briefly take a look at what is happening there. But
We
of
will
course,
focus.
sorry. You first.
I just wanted to say we will focus on the fun and the positive parts of chess.
As it's so easy, luckily, in our chess world, we never ever have negative stuff in the chess world, luckily.
Never.
So
Gens una sumus. We are a family and a peaceful and loving and happy family.
so the Tata Steel Chess Tournament is, I think, it's also considered kind of like a Wimbledon of chess. It is prestigious. It has amazing games since so many years, and we're luckily having our historical genius Johannes Fischer here, who will dive into this a bit later, into the history of Wijk, because I'm also very curious about this. I don't know too much about it, but you know a lot about it, luckily. But let's talk about the current situation right now. And
I have to, first of all,
yeah,
I'm not a historical genius. I'm not a genius.
you're just historical.
And for history, I always have to look up things. Yeah. So
Fair enough.
this
Okay.
as a disclaimer.
Okay, as a disclaimer.
But thanks for the compliment anyway.
We all know better, right? Anyway, so at the moment, Pragnananda, Ramesh Babu Pragnananda on the first place. Nodibek up to Satarov on the second place. This was my other favorite to win the tournament. And surprisingly, in my opinion, Gukesh on spot number 3, with 3.5 together with Vladimir Fedoseev. Why do I say surprising? Because I expected him after the World Championship that he was a little bit chill, relaxed, and maybe cannot repeat what he has done so far. And I think he can get a good place, but I didn't expect him to be that far up front. It looks like he is in a good mood, and he's still fighting. He will never lose that. What do you say about the top spots of the table, Johannes?
Well, I think they are all pretty young. I mean, at least the first three in the table. And also, I think that, I mean, Gukesh is world champion, but with 18 years of age, I think it's a bit early to retire and to say,
Who knows?
I'm world champion. That's
Exactly.
it, you know.
Exactly.
You know, just let's cruise and, you know, let's take it easy. No, I think he wants to prove that he is a deserved world champion, and I found it quite impressive that the way he played in the first round. I don't know. I mean, maybe you heard this, but he had an important ceremony in India, and he flew back from India to Wijk aan Zee, and he arrived, I think, 1 hour before before the start of the round. And so he had jet lag and he was tired, but he still played a fighting game against Arne Giri. And so I think he will try to win as many games as possible, and he will try to win the tournament. And the same goes, of course, for Vladimir Fedoseev, Nodibak Abdusatov, and Pragnananda.
So about we don't have to go too deep into the whole table. Of course, everybody who's playing there, everybody, I would really say everybody is a top player and has a chance to get all the way up there, at least in the top 3 places. We all know names like Caruana and Keymer and Giri and whatever. But then we look at the bottom table and we see Arjun Erigaisi there with 1 little point. What happened there?
Well, I think he was a bit unlucky, and also, I mean, yeah, of course, this is a disappointment and people expected more of him, but he has been playing the last year basically non-stop, and maybe he's just tired. And then, you know, you're in bad shape, you're tired, and you have a bad start to the tournament, and then, you know, things go from bad to worse, and suddenly you have 1 out of 5, and you know. But I think for all the other players, I mean, this is a 13-round tournament. 5 rounds have been played. A lot of things can happen, but maybe Arjun will not, well, his chances to become first are rather slim, but still, I think with 8 rounds to go, there's a lot can happen.
Okay, so who do you think will win the tournament now after 5 rounds? Can you still give a prediction? Because the last time, who did you mention the last time? I don't actually even remember. I think you said Caruana, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I just, I think there were 7 players who had good chances, and well, I think the first 7 still have, I think they have the best chances, even though Caruana is 1.5 points behind Abdusattorov and Pragnanda, but still, 8 rounds, a lot can happen.
This was the game between Gukesh and Giri.
Gukesh Giri, first round game, a jet-lagged world champion arriving just shortly before the game and was still fighting.
Yeah.
And we were struck, I mean, when we looked at the games from Wijk, we were struck by the number of, how often one side had a winning position but still managed to lose. And I think this is something most chess players, maybe all chess players, serious chess players, can relate to. You have a winning position, you have a winning position, but somehow things go wrong and you lose the game or you draw the game, and maybe it's a kind of consolation that this happens to the best. Anyway.
But this position is like so wild. I couldn't believe it when this is on the board. Options are countless, right?
Yeah, and again, what is the winning position? What is the winning position? And this was, again, both sides were in extreme time trouble. I think was at 1 or 1.5 minutes for the rest of the game. And of course, nowadays, it's just you have an engine running and the engine says, okay, this is won, And, well, Black Giri played in this position Bishop e4, which is a remarkable move with just minutes on the clock. And it's actually winning. Yeah. So,
so there's a couple of options. You can either try to take the bishop.
Yeah, you can take the bishop
with the
bishop.
But that's immediately mate, of course.
And with the rook, yeah.
We don't have to check that. The same.
Well, we can show this. So bishop e4, and then you have this, and you can now win with queen b6, or you can even play rook h1.
Yeah, rook h1 is very nice.
Bishop
cute
takes
move.
h1, and then we have queen h2, mate. So.
But it gets a bit more complicated when the rook takes, right?
Well, debatable, because I can just play this move, and you have to take with the bishop, and then the queen goes.
Almost looks easier after all.
Yeah. So.
But what happens if you take the knight?
You mean?
With the pawn, yeah.
With the pawn?
Get the defender away, try to attack the bishop on h6.
Oh, good question.
Well, the bishop has to take, I guess.
Yeah, bishop takes.
The king has to move to g1, I think. There's no other way. And now there's a... Oh, you cannot... Yeah, there is a check.
No, we just take the bishop.
No, but then it's a check from the queen.
Yeah, who cares?
And you just run away.
Yeah. Oh, is this one? No, this is not one. Oh, it's difficult. What was the winning continuation after?
But isn't it? Can you not take after rook? King
no,
G1?
Sorry, just take this and you made next move on G2.
Oh, that is good. Yes,
it's as easy as that. Oh my God, yeah, I've seen that before, but I forgot. Yeah. So you can't take on G4. And he played in the game. He played rook takes f2, knight takes f2, and now king to G1. And now Giri, with only a minute or even less on the clock, did not find the winning continuation.
I don't know it either, but I think it could be queen b6. Does it make sense?
Yeah, queen b6 makes a lot of sense, but that's what he played in the game, and that's what loses.
No.
And the winning move is the surprising knight to g4.
That is very nice. Yes, it was a mate on the board, actually. Wow.
Threatening queen g2. But again, I mean, you retreat the knight, and white can take the bishop with the rook and the bishop, and he can take the knight with the pawn and with the queen. And so it's difficult to find.
True.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is that if white takes, you have this check, queen b6.
This queen b6 is really the pattern, right?
That's very, I mean, that's difficult. I mean, that's easy to overlook. And the thing is, I mean, if you give a check on the back rank immediately, white has bishop f1 and won't get mated. But after queen b6, well, you cannot interpose anything. If you go king f1, it's mate on f2. And if you go king h1,
the queen just goes down.
Yeah.
And white can only throw in 2 pieces in between, and that's almost everything.
He will get mated anyway. But in the game, he did not play knight g4. He played queen b6 immediately, and then after queen f6, check. Queens get exchanged. And black no longer has a mating attack, and the d-pawn is too strong, and black is lost. So an example of turning a one position into a lost one. But again, I mean, this is like you overlook a tactical possibility, and by hindsight, it's always easy, especially with the engine running.
Of course.
I wonder how many people would see this knight g4 move in a real game with Manet.
Never. No. I mean, like especially as you said already, it's time trouble. So it's like 1 minute or 2 minutes left. So if you put this on the board, nobody has seen it before, and say like, solve this in 1 minute. That's going to be a big challenge.
Yeah, but the thing is that if someone tells you here's a win, then you might probably find the win. But in a game, it's just this feeling, I have a one position, but where's the win? And you look and you cannot find a clear-cut way. And then you spend oceans of time. Then you run into time trouble. And then you're not able to spot the win. And moreover, there are so many tempting possibilities. So, what to do, what to play.
Yeah. Exactly.
But still, it's just like, spoiling a one position into a loss.
Let's look now at another position, which has the same pattern. Yes.
This was the first round game, Leon Mendonca against Vincent Keymer. And Mendonca was well prepared. I mean, they were following a rare theoretical line, I think 20 moves or something, and they reached this position. And in this position, Keymer played rook e6, I think. And this is a mistake. I mean, the computer says it's a mistake. I find it very hard to see that as a mistake, but the computer said it's a mistake. And after c5, bishop e4, bishop c4.
Queen c4.
Queen c4, sorry. d3. White played rook f5. And this is, again, the engines do not fully agree, and they think that c6 is a better move.
Yes, and there's another move which came from the engines. Yeah, c6 is the correct move. And this other pattern will also come back again. I think it comes a bit later after the move h5, maybe, or is it h6? Something like that.
But he played rook f5 in the game.
Yeah.
Queen g4, threatening mate on g2.
You have to defend.
Yeah, rook f2, h5. So
yeah,
and now if you look at the position, I mean, black is 2 pawns up, if I count correctly, but has an attack. But if white manages to parry the attack and promote or just advance his c pawn,
white has 2 pawns up, not black.
Then he should be winning. But as Jan Gustafsson pointed out in his live commentary, in his German live commentary, the position is easier to play for black because black has just basically one plan to attack g2, to attack the king side, and white has to parry these threats and has to find a good plan of its own. So now h3, queen g3, c6, king h7 to break the pin, queen c5. And now Keymer played the tricky move, rook to g6.
This is really tricky because there's a lot happening on e1, which will resolve after the bishop takes on g2.
Yeah, that's one threat. And also it's, but on the, you play rook g6 and you allow white to take on h5 with check. And this is again, I mean, you randomize and you put pressure on the defender, and that's, well, you know, swindling or playing bad, worse, lost positions.
Yeah.
And here Mendonca, for reasons unknown, played the move rook c1.
Well, the reason is clear also. Mendonca had, unfortunately, he's fighting with his time trouble right now in almost every round. I think he had around 1 minute left for the last 10 moves. So he had, yeah, and this was, I think he stopped the 1 minute for like 1 or 2 seconds before the time completely fell. So as Jan Gustafsson and as you just mentioned correctly, it is easier for black to play because there's an attack going on. And if you have time trouble and there's almost only moves, which the engine says like, well, white is clearly winning. If white plays the only moves all the time, then that's fine. But to rely on the engine, and I saw the comments of the people, of course, watching the game, and they wrote like, white is clearly better, white has to win this. And it's like, have you ever played chess before?
Yeah, but I mean, my question would be, have you ever played chess without an engine running? Have you ever looked at games
Also that,
without
yeah.
an engine running? Because it's so treacherous. I mean, you see the engine evaluation, and then of course you think it's absolutely clear, and you cannot forget the engine evaluation. You know, it's in your mind, and of course, you know, then the engine says, "Oh, it's winning for white." Yeah,
There was another point which I thought about in this connection, which was interesting. They made a poll. I don't even know where I watched it. I think they made a poll, who has played in a tournament before? Like in a real over-the-board chess tournament, to the chat.
Yeah,
And I think,
from the people in the chat.
yeah, and I think it was more than 1,000 people who answered, and over 60% have never ever played a tournament game before overboard.
Okay.
And that, I thought like that was, I didn't expect that. I thought, okay, there's probably some, but not 60%. That was a surprise to me.
60% is rather high.
Yeah. Nonetheless, this explains a lot, of course, why, I would rather watch chess than play it myself, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, but you don't know how it, then if you haven't played an over-the-board tournament, you don't know how it feels.
Exactly.
You know, you sit there and the position is difficult, and
that's why I made the connection. But here, of course, black plays queen h3, and it's
h3.
mate in 6 or 7 or something.
Yeah, that's what the engine says. But the thing is that the human knows, okay, you cannot protect g2, and it's basically game over.
That's the reason, yeah. I have to quickly mention one thing before the white move h3. I also saw a peculiar move, which the engine also says everything is safe, but this to see is also so difficult and continue. It's bishop e5.
Oh, bishop e5. Yeah,
To
that's an
avoid the queen going to g3 after h3, which is very insane.
That's an engine move.
It
bishop
is, right?
E5.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now you can, if the king goes out of the way, you can
h7.
Yeah, you can. I don't know. You can either advance with h3, or you have to get the bishop to c7 or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, but don't be tempted to play rook f4. You know,
No.
double attack on queen and bishop.
Yeah, now that my bishop is there, exactly. I think I can win a piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this looks good.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it was h3 now, but I think you have to get the bishop out of the way first, and then at one point play h3. Nonetheless, this is another example, and we have a third example even.
This was the 4th round.
Yeah.
And this is a game between Erigaisi and Fedoseev. And Erigaisi, you know, was attacking, and in this position he could have played. What could he have played?
I don't know. I don't know this position actually. I didn't watch this particular game.
Yeah.
But what can you play? It looks like
He
you
could have played this
swap a
move.
piece, right? Yeah, with the
Yeah.
bishop.
Yeah, he could have played this, and if you take, you play this.
Aha.
Yeah. But in the game,
He took with the knight.
played this, and after this, he thought he could win the pawn with bishop f5. But this has a disadvantage. I mean, this is it's not a disadvantage, a drawback, because now black has a very good, strong move.
Can I think? Is it like no this? Okay, I'm calculating. Queen takes f5. Rook takes the f5, of course. Rook takes g3. G3 takes the rook, and then the knight goes to e3.
That's exactly what he
Is
played.
it? Oh wow!
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. Rook takes f5. Rook g3. H3. Knight e3. With a double attack on both rooks.
And you can only defend none.
Yeah, exactly. You have to lose one complete rook, And again, of course, one could argue this is a tactical sequence, a tactical trick, and this is, yeah. But still, the question is, why is it so difficult to win a one position?
Correct.
And okay, Fedoseev in this position had a one position, and he managed to win the game. So it doesn't always have to be like this. And when thinking about this, something came to my mind that the Dutch player Jan Hein Donner, actually in his fantastic book The King, Chess Pieces, he
nice.
wrote about this topic. And Donner was a Dutch player, and he's a legend in Dutch chess, and not only in Dutch chess, because he was a strong player. I think he was 3 times Dutch champion. He won the tournament at Wijk 3 times. And he was part of one of the best players in the world. Not quite to the very top, but he played a number of strong tournaments and performed quite well. And it's remarkable because he learned chess at a rather late age, at the age of 14. And some people say this might explain the number of mistakes and tactical oversights in his games. But and as it happens, Donner is the player who won the most games of all players who ever participated in the tournament in Wijk aan Zee.
That is interesting. I didn't know that.
Then you find this. You have a number of interesting statistics. Then you have all-time statistic, and if you goes to, there's most tournament victories. Who won Wijk aan Zee the most often?
You just said Jan Leif Donner.
No, he won the most games.
Oh, he won the most games. Okay, then
most tournament victories is
Carlsen,
Magnus Carlsen, followed by Arne. Carlsen has 8, Arne's 5, and then Max Oewe. But Donner won 3 times. But he played, I think, 15 times, or quite a lot.
Gotcha.
So he has most games won in absolute numbers.
How crazy.
Yeah, 85, and maybe Carlsen will catch him if Carlsen decides to take part again in this tournament. But if Carlsen says no more classical chess, well, might be a problem.
But now that Carlsen watched our 2 Nights Talk episode and realized that he's just so close to becoming the number 1 of the 1 games, he might play 2 more tournaments to get this done.
If he gets ambitious, yeah. So, but let's have a look. At most games won. Jan Hein Donner, he won 85 games. Arne won 75. But Donner was a strong player, but he became a legend because of the way he writes. And you find this in the book I mentioned, The King. This is a collection of chess pieces, chess articles he wrote for Dutch magazines. He wrote for chess magazines. He wrote for Dutch newspapers, and he was famous for his polemical style, for his insights, and for his self-irony. And he was very, pronounced in his opinions. I mean, people will always, nowadays, people will mention this, that he claimed that women can play chess and computers can play chess. And of course, this in this time and age, this doesn't go down well and is, of course, nonsense, And he was, but still, and the way he writes is a sheer pleasure.
There we
Jan Hein
go.
Donner, the king. And Donner is also, he wrote very often about the phenomenon of, losing won games. And one quote is particularly famous, and I would like to read this now.
Please.
Please,
Everybody stand up.
everybody stand up. And this is the first article. It starts 1950, and he talks about the justice in chess, and he writes, "I love all positions. Give me a difficult positional game, I'll play it. Give me a bad position, I'll defend it. Openings, endgames, complicated positions, and dull drawn positions, I love them all and will give them my best efforts. But totally winning positions, I cannot stand."
So true.
And then he says he's not the only one. And then he concludes, "And that is why I'm writing all this under the heading, The Justice of Chess. For it is indeed the strongest who will win, not the one who is objectively the best thinker, but the one who is the most tenacious fighter, as is also the case in life." Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And again, I mean,
Cool words. Yep.
there's a famous example of Donner where he loses. I mean, there are lots of examples where he loses one positions, but I think the most famous is the one we will see now. So Donner had white, and he was playing against a guy called Spanjaard, and in this position, it's white to move. Yeah, and when I was looking at the position, I thought, okay, white is winning. And I thought I might play rook a7. This was the move I would have played in the game.
Looks very reasonable.
Looks very reasonable. But
also a check to get the king on the e-file maybe before and then move to a7.
Yeah, but rook a7 is not a good move. It's the move Donner played in the game. And maybe now we'll pause again and try to find out why the move is not particularly or not really convincing.
So I was right, actually. Now,
what can black do?
I wonder if black can just... No, that's not working. Well, no, that's also not working. There must be something very tricky, I think.
It is very tricky. Black played rook to h1 check.
Oh, I considered this, but I...
Yeah,
oh my goodness!
And after king h1, which is forced,
that
black has...
is so brutal.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the funny thing is that if black didn't have a pawn on g5 or h4, it would be still winning. But the white pieces and the black pieces are just also unluckily placed that white cannot prevent black from mating on e1.
This must sting terribly.
Yeah. But what I liked is that after this happened, Donner calmly said, well, these things happen. So acknowledging that mistakes happen in chess and that you're prone to make such mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so
very beautiful.
But still, yeah, but very interesting. I don't know how you would feel if your opponent plays through h1 and you realize you spoiled the one position. But no matter whether these things happen or not, the question is how to stop them, and why is it so difficult to win the one position?
Why it is, yes. I wanted to ask you, of course, how do you feel in a position where you are winning, just in all the examples we were just showing, very similarly?
I get nervous, and all fun of playing chess vanishes. I get nervous, and I think, it's just, you start the game and you're excited and you want to get a, and then you're happy. I mean, you're happy with small advantage. You think, oh, I get a weak, get a strong outpost. I win a pawn. I get a chances for attack, and you're happy about minor minuscule advantages. And then you have a one position, and you think, oh my God, I hope I won't botch it. Oh my God, I have to win now. I have a one position. Let's, oh, I hope I don't make a mistake, and so on. And then all fun vanishes. And also it's just like everything seems to be too risky, not safe enough. And then, if you have a double-edged position, you calculate sharply and you think, oh, can I sacrifice something? Or this looks promising, and you calculate this, and I have enough compensation. This looks like a promising attack. But if I have a one position, I think, oh, maybe I can sacrifice something. Oh, but maybe if I miscalculate, no, let's look for something safer. Oh, but if I do this, oh, he has this attack, and oh, maybe I should play something entirely different. And so, I spend time, and it's just like, and of course, then gradually I drift into, well, a better position, and then it's a draw, and so on and so on. Because naturally you shy, or because I don't want to botch the game, I shy away from taking risks. And well, I mean, I've read a number of people talking about this, and I think the best advice was given by Jonathan Rowson. I think it's in his book Chess for Zebras, and he said, oh no, it's the 7 deadly chess sins, and he said one sin is wanting, and so the sin is if you have a one position that you want to win, and he said the remedy is if you have a one position, enjoy it. Enjoy that you're winning. It's rare enough, but don't think about winning. Just enjoy the process of playing the one position, and and then focus on playing the best moves. And again, this is a quote by Donner. He said, "Good positions are not won by good. You win good positions not by having good positions, but by playing good moves. And that's." But again, easier said than done. So
it is, and I think it often so much depends on how your position is won. Do you have a one position because you have such a strong attack, or do you have a one position because you have just a quality more, or a piece more, or 3 pawns more? Because the positions where you have 1 or 2 pieces more often are not that clearly won, because often enough you were giving up initiative or some advantage, or you have to now defend because there's a lot of pawns coming up, there's an attack against you, and out of a sudden you feel like, okay, like engine-wise, I should have won this, but that is massively difficult. And I think the examples with Giri and Mendonca, and even with Fedoseev, are showing that, okay, there is a one position, but you always have to take care of all the tricks. And this is, I think, is one of the worst things in the world, often enough to, if you ever have a chance to get a one position against Hikaru Nakamura or Magnus Carlsen, which can happen, it doesn't mean that much. And especially Hikaru Nakamura shows this in Blitz better than any other player in the world. And this is what's the scariest part. In Blitz, it happens occasionally that you have a better position against Hikaru, or in Bullet even, and then Hikaru just has millions and millions and unbelievable amount of threats, and you have to take care of every single threat to keep this winning position stable, and it will so often fall apart. I've watched it so many times. It's very enjoyable to watch him play Blitz. And that is what the good moves quote by Donner also means, of course, that even in the worst position, if you play the good moves, you have to play the only moves all the time. And
yeah, Nakamura is famous for being tenacious, very tenacious, but still. And again, what you mentioned is just like, very often it is like this: you have a better position, the opponent gives 1 or 2 pawns, and you have a winning position, but suddenly you do not have pressure anymore, and you just have to, bring the goodies
Yeah.
home, so to speak. And this is psychological more difficult than just mating your opponent. Well, so
That's
probably we won't be able to solve this problem,
but
and
maybe you at home.
probably we'll see more games in which one positions are spoiled. And the consolation is that every chess player, he's not alone or she is not alone. Lots of players have done this and will do this, and even the best.
Yes, and I wonder how this will be when the freestyle event is going on next month already. It's happening in Weissenhaus again. We've been talking about this the one or another time. And that leads, of course, to another theme, which is occurring right now, that FIDE had a press release about the freestyle chess, the world championship. And that's more or less the whole point, which FIDE is claiming that they can do what they want, freestyle chess can do what they want, but do not use the title World Chess Championship because of all the reasons set up in the statement. And the chess world is talking about this. Hikaru had his own video about this, Gotham Chess, and Hans Niemann was also giving his opinion about this. So yeah, it involves, of course, a lot of chess players. And it's a touchy and interesting thing because there's a lot happening behind the scenes. We were also talking about this when the Rapid and the Blitz World Chess Championship happened, that there was the jeans scandal, but a lot of people also mentioned, well, jeans. That was one little point, but there's much more to it for various reasons. So we probably will never find out because there's too much going on behind the scenes. But what's your general thought about the whole situation? We also 2 episodes ago we were talking about it a little bit, but we can catch up with it again.
Well, there actually seems to be a severe conflict. On the one hand, there's Freestyle Chess, the Freestyle Chess organization, and they start the Grand Slam tournaments, which the series will start on 7th of February, and then there's FIDE. And as was reported on the ChessBase page, apparently FIDE tried to find an agreement with Freestyle Chess, and the main point of contention seems to be that the Freestyle Chess organization would like to name the tournament's World Championship. And I think it is a factual World Championship because the world's best chess players take part in it. And the winner of this Grand Slam series, or the winner of this series, has a right to call himself the world's best freestyle chess player.
Agreed.
But apparently FIDE and the Freestyle Chess organization didn't come to an agreement. And then FIDE, made this press release and apparently, putting players under pressure and said, well, 2025, you can play in this cycle, but if the Freestyle Chess organization insists on calling this series a World Championship, then players have to decide whether to play in FIDE tournaments or whether to play in tournaments by the Freestyle Chess organizations. And then basically, if you play for the Freestyle organization, you cannot play in the World Championship cycle. And I don't know actually what is hidden about this, but in a way it seems to be very much about money and influence. I don't know how
As
the legal...
almost always.
Yeah, I don't know the legal ramifications, whether FIDE actually has a legal right to say, we are the ones who are in charge of the titles and the ELO ratings and so on and so on. But FIDE maybe said, give us a certain fee and we will organize the tournament for you. And again, now we have a conflict, and it's just like if the world's best players stick together and say, we won't sign the contract FIDE offers us, and they might split away from FIDE, and then then this conflict will deepen.
Yeah, we cannot tell. It is difficult. Sorry, but keep on.
And again, I mean, if both sides do not come to an agreement,
That was
they are
my
both
question to you actually now.
uncompromising, that the world's best players say, okay, we run freestyle chess, but we will also, establish another kind of organization that organizes a different kind of world championship. Suddenly you have a split, and FIDE is not the only organization, but we have two world championships. And I think this would be a very unfortunate development.
Yeah, and it happened already once upon a time in the 1993, or what was the date?
1993, when Short and Kasparov decided to split from FIDE. But if I remember correctly, at that time, the players had they could play in both championships, world championships. They could play in the FIDE World Championship, and they could play in the PCA, Professional Chess Association Championship. But now FIDE says you play either freestyle or you play for FIDE. And this is different. But, I do not quite understand the FIDE position here, because, very naively, I would think they should be happy that you have someone who organizes, Chess 960, Fischer Random, Freestyle Chess for them, and everybody would be happy.
In an ideal world, FIDE would be very happy that chess has this great supporter with Jan-Henrik Büttner, and who founded the thing together with Magnus Carlsen, who is pushing chess forward, making it maybe more interesting on another level, attracting more viewers, etc., etc., etc. But apparently not. And that is the whole difficulty. And also the difficult part is that, they have a lot going on behind the scenes, which we don't even know about. So there will probably something coming up here and there, maybe bits and tits, because at one point maybe Hikaru will have another video, or Magnus will have another tweet about something. So we don't know.
In the FIDE press release, they said we are open for negotiations. And for me, this sounded like, if the offer is right, things will be fine, But again, the whole gene skate at the World Rapid Championship, it seemed, this is what Hikaru indicated, and this is what others indicated, that FIDE seems to have put pressure on the players. And they said, no, if, players like Hikaru and Magnus Carlsen, and some people even say that Caruana, they threatened to withdraw from the World Rapid and Blitz Championship. And in this situation, then Carlsen was asked to change before the last round of day one. And of course, he was angry and saw this as a matter of principle. And this conflict, which might have been minor, suddenly became very, very important. But we will see. We will see how this will develop. Maybe they will come to an agreement, and we will see a harmonious, Grand Slam in freestyle, a harmonious World Championship.
Hand in hand, imagine all the people.
Yeah,
all right.
Exactly.
So this was it from tonight's talk. Now we can keep on continuing to watch the beautiful Tata Steel Chess Tournament, and
round 6.
Let us hope that there will be some interesting games. Okay, last prediction: who will win? You have to make one. You have to name one, or otherwise you die. No, that's a bit harsh. But
okay, the name that pops up in my mind is Abdu Satoev, I believe.
I wanted to say that too. Yeah. So now I have to name a different one. In this case, I will still stick to Leon Mendonca. I believe in you. Poor Leon also had, by the way, a sickness. So, and I truly, truly, truly hope that he didn't get it from me, because I saw him a week earlier. I really hope so. He has very different symptoms, but maybe that doesn't mean anything. So,
and I didn't know that you would influence the course of chess history
with
that
influenza.
Much, Influenza, yeah. Okay, let's stop these silly jokes, and wish all viewers
stay healthy, have fun with chess.
Exactly, and enjoy Wijk aan Zee.
Bye.
Bye.